goodness. Hey, well, if you notice that I look like heck and I sound like heck, it's because undo my microphone. I'll edit that out of this video. It's because I thought I was gonna die last night. I mean, I was pretty sure that I was gonna have to go to the emergency room. I was in Florida for the past 6 days, doing some stuff and helping some friends out, and I got really run down, and whatever was at that location where I was staying, I was just deathly allergic to, and I couldn't breathe. And if I can't breathe, I can't sleep. So you get sick, and then you get run down, and when you get run down, you get more sick, and it was just. And I hadn't seen a dentist in way over 20 years, and I don't know if you thought I was lying when I said that I don't have health insurance because I can't afford it. And so my friends actually set me up with their dentist, and he fixed 5 cavities. I actually brush and floss and mouthwash twice a day. I think the fruit juices, the acidic fruit juices over the years is what did it to me. So I had 2 mercury amalgams removed and replaced, and then 5 cavities replaced. Not the ones, well, the cavities that are on the side of the teeth, which is, less invasive. So that and being run down and extremely sleep deprived because I couldn't sleep, and just coughing and snorting. It's just a very unpleasant. I look even worse than I normally look. I got some paperwork here right in front of me. I know you can't see it. My cabin insurance went from $705 to, what is it now? $1,039. I've never made a claim on it. That's a 30%, whatever it is basically 30% rise in the insurance on my cabin. Absolutely unbelievable. It's just absolutely unbelievable. The stuff that I've been talking about and that you guys have been sending me emails about is going on everywhere. I guess I'm gonna have to drop the insurance. I refuse to pay 30% more when I've never made a claim on it. It's just absolutely ridiculous. There's a lot of stuff going on, and I hope I can fit it all into this video. I think I can if I go relatively quickly. Cyber and grid takedowns are coming. I've seen a huge increase in this. I've asked you about this a couple, 3 videos ago. What this will be due to, we can't say. Ultimately, will we ever know? Is it likely due to the government? It probably will be. The internet cable that is fed off the coast of Yemen was cut. Who do we know? You can blame it on the Houthis. It's probably our own GOVT or the EU that actually cut it. Am I speculating on that? I certainly am. I have no idea who cut it. I don't think a lot of the world realizes that internet cables are these big beefy cables that run along the ocean floor. And they're all over the place, and some big ones run right off the coast there. What's going on in Ireland that I'm hearing from Irish folk is absolutely unbelievable. None of it's making the news. What's going on in Deutschland and Germany is absolutely epic on several different fronts. The farmers and what's going on there, it's too broad to actually even talk about because there is so much going on. Downtown Dublin, I'm going to say it properly, as an Irishman would say it when they say Dublin, and here in the United States we say Dublin. It's extremely shameworthy. It's disgusting. I'm part Irish myself, and I've never been to Ireland. I'd always love to go, but it's just too bloody expensive. A little bit of an Irish accent there, eh? I'm going to say this thing 3 times, and I'm going to say it 3 times because it's that important, and you need to remember it for the rest of this year. And a lot of stuff is going to be happening in March. It already is. There's more happened in the past week and a half than any of the other What's Going On videos that I've talked about before, even during, the main nonsense of 2020 and 2021. You create a problem to usher in an evil solution. You create a problem to usher in an evil solution. And one last time, you create a horrible problem that people cry about in whatever shape, form, or fashion to usher in an evil solution. I'd like to get to that, what's happening up in New York and other places here in a second. I don't care about politics. I absolutely don't. If you think I'm talking about it, you're superficially correct, but not really. I only care about what affects me and family and those people that I care about, and that's really all anybody cares about. And, my immediate family, paid dearly for freedoms, perceived or real, here in the United States, and so those are mine by birthright. People can contest that all they want, but the State of the Union address, which was like 48 hours ago, was an absolute outright shouting match against the American citizens. It was demonizing freedoms and those people that love and cherish freedoms. And then I got to point out to you that the United States, everybody keeps calling it a democracy, our democratic right. The United States is not a democracy, and it never has been. Democracy always leads to el fascismo. Always has, always will. The United States is a constitutional republic, so if you think the United States is a democracy, you really should flush that out of your brain, because it's not. Anyway, what happened in the State of the Union, or should I say State of the Disunion, was an absolute disgusting display. A State of the Union is supposed to be uplifting and bipartisan and positive, and it was the exact opposite of that. Every time, this is the first time ever in the State of the Union a president has called out his predecessor. First time ever. But President Oatmeal Applesauce in the State of the Union a couple days ago did it 13 times. I just want to point out to you before getting off of this subject quickly that your government, I don't care what country you're living in, your government doesn't give a single tinker's darn about you. They don't. The government does not care about you whatsoever. It's a talisman, by the way. Government is not a living thing. You could say the government's a flag, or you could say, you know, it's pieces of paper, like the Declaration of Independence and the Bill of Rights, and it's none of those things. Those, like the Bill of Rights, which I'm strongly behind, and the Declaration of Independence and our Constitution, I'm also, too, very much behind. But what is representing those today is nothing close to the original article, no way, shape, or form. Absolutely is not, and these are idols. It's, if you don't have honor and fortitude, then you have nothing. Our founding fathers, here in the United States anyway, said that the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, on and on, required a moral, upright people. I could care less about morality. Higher affects the lower does not affect the higher. By being superficially moral, it does not bring you closer to nobility or transcendence or wisdom. The higher affects the lower. Somebody that is wise by definition cannot be immoral. People that worry about morality rather than wisdom are themselves fools, even if superficially pious, but they are ultimately, of course, Pharisees. There's so much that's going on right now, and I need to get onto that rather than actually diverge off of that topic. I'll mention, before getting onto the main points here, that what very little money that I actually have, I took out $1,000 of my own money and I spent it on, what do you think I spent it on? I don't have any money, but I took out $1,000 and I spent it on something. Maybe more than one thing, maybe one thing. I'll let you guess what you think I spent it on. I know some people that have means, they have funds. Whatever you think that is or is not, I'll let you decide. I could care less. I'm telling you right now, I'm not talking about myself, I'm telling you about people that have the means and the wherewithal to move things and to acquire things. These people are moving full tilt, as there's a southern saying, it's called crotch out. It just means you're going full blast. These people are going full blast because they know what's happening, exactly what I'm telling you is happening, is in fact happening. And once again, I've seen more of it happen in the past week and a half since I made one of these What's Going On videos. Maybe it's been 2 weeks, actually. And once again, I apologize. I've been deathly sick for the past 3.5+ days. Really, really deathly sick. I still can't get my body temperature up. I've actually got the thermostat turned up 5 degrees above normal in this house because I'm still chill on the inside. Not that you care, but by the way, the bank's on the 10th. It ends today. So starting the 11th, the Federal Reserve Board on Wednesday has announced that the Bank Term Funding Program, BTFP, will cease making any new loans as scheduled on March the 11th. So all this kickstarts tomorrow. A lot of people that are intelligent on this topic, I don't pretend to be one on the banking sector, predict that a lot of medium and small banks will be collapsing. They're just going to be folding up like a cheap card table. We'll see how many of that actually is, but people predict it's going to be more than a few. Whether it's a lot, I don't know. I don't really have any money. I'm probably going to owe $6,000 to the super, super evil IRS. Super evil. The epitome, the epicenter, the navel of evil. Probably the same as last year, so what I've got like, it's all going to go to the IRS. It's just all going to go there. Second largest port has been blocked by farmers' revolts. None of this stuff is being covered in Ireland, Germany, Belgium, the Oostenrijk, Deutschland, Denmark. It's the Netherlands. It's not being covered at all by any media. And of course, they're all lying, evil, and twisted. But none of it's being covered. And I'm hearing a lot from you people that live in these countries, and it's absolutely unbelievable. Second largest ports been blocked. Port of Antwerp disrupted by Belgian farmers' protests. I keep getting feeds and personal videos made by people that live in these countries, and none of this stuff is being covered by anybody. Even the so-called alt media, which the Glenn Becks and the, O'Reilly, these people that are not on regular establishment, super evil networks, they on their own little do-it-yourself DIY Lego set of media information. They're not covering it either. They're not. And I look at these people and they're not covering it either. The farmer protests are absolutely off the hook and nobody is covering it. Not the primary media, not the secondary, not the DIY folks. They're not. There's a huge thing with America's electricity bills, the skyrocketing. I work 7 days a week. I haven't been working basically for the past 4 days. I was not taking a vacation. I was actually getting my teeth worked on, and my dear friends in Florida, where I was staying in Naples, Florida, they got me some eyeglasses that have been ordered. These are actually falling apart. My primary pair is splitting, and I got 5 fillings fixed, and so that's what I was doing. I did have a chance to sit by the pool, and I got some great exercise in, and these are very, very dear friends of mine. People are not making it. And tying in with this, I'm not saying do this, by the way. I'm saying everybody is talking about it, okay? I'm not advocating anybody do this. I'm telling you exactly what I'm hearing. I'm hearing it from everywhere. Via email, via text, SMS messages from people I know. Everybody's talking about a revolt a la the taxes. And I saw this coming. I've been mentioning it now. I said coming? I'm sorry, I'm so sick. Recovering from being so ill. I saw this coming from like a year plus back. I said, people are so stretched thin financially. So severely stretched that when taxes hit, then there's just going to be this announcement of revolt. By the way, everybody keeps talking about their taxes being wasted on this or that. I'm all behind that sentiment, but American tax dollars only go towards paying the national debt. Every time you hear about sending your tax money to this nonsense and that nonsense, that's spontaneously printed money. That's not your tax dollars. I'm not saying it's any more evil, but that's where it's actually going. Or else the president of El Salvador, a very intelligent person, gave a press conference. I think everybody should see it. He talked about if the Fed can spontaneously print money at will, which they do, and the Federal Reserve Bank is not a bank, and it's not federal. It's neither federal nor a bank. It's an evil Hydra arm that's been in place since, 1913? Super, super, super evil. If they can spontaneously print money at will, which they do, then why do they need taxpayer money? And I think the president of El Salvador, everybody's talking about a speech. I've listened to it like 4 times now. They're saying they're doing it to keep up the illusion that you're contributing to society, because your tax dollars are not going to buy these big things that everybody's like, rah, 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 my taxes are going to this nonsense, rah, 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 rah. All that money is printed spontaneously by the Fed. There's a $1 trillion increase on national debt every 100 days? Full-on kinetic conflict. Kinetic conflict. Hello. I can barely speak. I know my face looks like hell. This is what happens when you blow your nose for like 3 days straight. You make your nose really sore and raw. Just couldn't breathe. Terrible sick. The only way out of this is full-blown kinetic conflict on a semi-global scale or on a global scale. That or including the CBDC in whatever way, shape, or form that actually takes. It doesn't have to be a formal CBDC like FedCoin for every country. Right now, gold has surged past $2,130 an ounce. I have exactly 5 ounces of gold. It's way too high to really, could it surge past 5,000? It absolutely could. What right now is extremely undervalued is silver. I don't presume to be any kind of person to give you monetary advice on what metals to speculate on. However, I've always been 100% accurate on platinum. A bunch of people said, I said, right now is the time to get platinum. That was several months ago. And people were like, oh, thank you, I made so much money on platinum. I bought it when you said. Yeah, gold is, a bunch of people have emailed about gold. And of course, I watch gold and silver and platinum at least 2 times a day. I've heard from Canadians, actual people that have contacted me directly that are paralyzed, too specifically, that the Canadian government is pushing them to get erased from existence. I'm not going to use the word that I should be using, but the Canadian government is pushing these people to be erased from existence. This is going on in Canada. It's not rumor or hearsay. It's 100% undeniable. I'd like to hear your front on that, on the great evils that are going on in Canada. What are some other things, like people that are just like depressed? They've been pushing for people that are depressed to erase themselves from existence up in Canada. Good going, Canada. You know, good going. You know, I've spent decades people emailing me, oh, we got free healthcare up in Canada. Yeah, look at that. Look at that free healthcare. Sure. By the way, there's no such thing as free healthcare. I've had Swedes say that. Sweden used to be #1 or #2 highest taxes on earth. 70+%. Oh, we got free healthcare in Sweden. I live in Göteborg, Sverige. That means Göteborg, Sweden in Swedish, by the way. I live in Göteborg, Sverige, and I got the free healthcare. I'm not making fun of the Swedish people. I'm part Scandinavian myself, okay? There's no such thing as free health care, by the way, just in case you didn't know. French President Macron is pushing the French population into direct conflict with Russia. He's talked about that. So has the Chancellor of Deutschland. They're telling people, and you can say this is based in fear-mongering, so you get people to not think deeply and correctly. If you're scared like a rodent on the freeway, whatever that chain of causation it is you choose to pick for the reasoning for this, you know, that's up to you. But the French president actually pushing direct conflict with Russia. It's like, it's inevitable. It's going to happen. Get ready for it. Sweden was doing that recently. Sweden, by the way, just joined NATO. I know all the people that are actually heaping hate upon NATO. I don't know if you know history or not, but NATO was created to push back against Soviet expansion, unlimited expansion. That's the reason why NATO was created. I mean, do you even realize why NATO was even created? People tell, oh, how evil NATO is. What's opposed to what? Full-on Soviet communistic totalitarian aggression. You know, I lived in Soviet Russia for a long time, longer than you did, unless you're a Soviet immigrant. Do you know why NATO was even created, for God's sakes? Defund the police, defund the police, defund the police. We've been hearing that now for years. This, of course, all harkens back to what I was telling you about 10 minutes ago, is that you create a problem to usher in an evil solution. Before getting onto that, Hochul has gone full tilt against the largest beef packing company up there. The New York AG, at behest of Herr Schnickelgruber, Governor Hochul, is suing a meat company because it sells too much meat. Last week, Attorney General Letitia James charged the world's largest beef producer, JBS of USA, with misrepresenting its carbon emissions. Oh my God, cow farts. Speaking of cow farts, I was on the plane yesterday. There was a guy sitting next to me. He kept passing gas. It's so disgusting. You're in this tight little sardine can on an airplane. This nasty guy I'm sitting next to, and of course, you know, you're packed in tight as sardine. You know, it's cutting, passing gas. How gross. I've known a cow farmer that I bought my farm from years ago, and I'm going to buy a couple of cows from my farm. He gave me a cheap price at $900 a head for the largest cow that he's got. You know, would take my pick, $900 a head. I'm going to get a couple cows. It's going to be somebody else we're going to need to pay to take care of it. I'm not going to say who that is or where it's at, but this is you create a problem to usher in a solution. 1,000 federal troops in New York City subways, there's tons of video and tons of pictures of it, doing illegal bag searches They have currently set up container inspection zones. See, tax dollars are used to pay for those subways. It's illegal to do random searches like that on U.S. subways. It's different than, well, they do it at the airlines like TSA. That's private. It's not public. You know, some tax dollars actually go to airports and whatnot in a subsidiary fashion, but these subways are paid for by the taxpayers. And Hochul was asked, Herr Schicklgruber Hochul, I forget her first name. I'm going to call her Herr Schicklgruber Hochul. Hair, I know, is male. I know her. She's not a hair. Could be. You don't know. It doesn't matter anymore, does it? She said, well, what about, it's illegal to do that. He said, well, if you don't want to submit to an illegal, she didn't say illegal, you want to submit to an illegal search at the subway, then you should just turn around and go home. Well, those are taxpayer-funded subways. It's completely illegal. It's basically the TSA for the subway. Let me get this straight. On the border a la southern here in the United States, everything is open there, but you're going to illegally do search and seizures on subway riders. Yeah, so you're going to defund. Do you understand that? You create a problem. Defund the police, defund the police. Of course, what happens when you defund the police? Crime skyrockets, and then they create martial law. I'm asking you, when you have 1,000 federal agents with select fire, pew, 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 and guarding the subway entrance, how is that any different than martial law? This is what they're trying to slowly creep in. Well, that's okay. Keep me safer. What was it Benjamin Franklin said? Anybody who would give up a little bit of freedom for a little bit of security deserves neither freedom nor security. Yeah, Benjamin Franklin did say that. People are, the sheep up in New York, and I think everybody up in New York is a sheep. Bah! Well, 99.9% of them are anyway. It's like, well, it's okay. I trade off a little bit of freedom for a little bit of security. Oh, what you've done is you've submitted to martial law tyranny. Cool, congratulations. See, this is how it's going to work. This is how it's working in Europe. This is definitely how it's going in Canada and Australia. I'm hearing from a lot of people in Australia and New Zealand and other places about how all of a sudden, as I've been reporting, I had more internet outages in the past few months than I've had in the past 10 years. I've had a lot of people in Australia and other countries tell me the same thing is happening. Pretty soon they're going to say we've got a cyber grid takedown, and oh no, it's due to Chinese/Russian hacking. Sure it is. I'm telling you right now, it's going down. It's going down. It's going down. It is going down. I'm not talking about the grid specifically. I'm talking about everything. Death by 1,000 cuts. Next is going to be I call it fuzzy bunny martial law, of a slow incline towards totalitarian control. What is fuzzy bunny rabbit martial law? It's the same thing that's going up in the New York City subways. Oh, I'll trade off a little bit of security in my own, trade off a little bit of my freedoms. Illegal search and seizure. On a taxpayer paid for, I'm going to trade off a little bit of freedoms for a little bit more security. And on and on. It's going to be... There's like an old movie where one person sneaks in to this fort. It's no big deal. It's only one. We got 10,000 soldiers here. And then there's another the second day, then 3 more. It's no big deal. We got... and you're overrun. It'll be 10,000 little fuzzy bunny rabbits of martial law and totalitarian control. And then you're going to find yourself drowning in fuzzy bunny rabbits. See, if you can't do a full-on frontal. They've done AI and advanced computer algorithmic determinations of how many fuzzy bunny rabbits and how fast a rate they can actually throw at you before you realize that you are completely suffocated in these cute little fuzzy bunny rabbits of totalitarian control. It's like, oh, it's just a little fuzzy bunny rabbit. I know he's eating my tomatoes out there in my garden, which I planted, but he's just one little fuzzy bunny rabbit. This is exactly how it works. I know I'm laughing. And it is slightly funny. But this is exactly how they're doing it. They've gone full tilt, though, in Canada. Canada is like, the heck with that. We're going full tilt fast as we can. They laid on the gas. There's one little fuzzy bunny rabbit eating my tomatoes out there in the garden. It's okay. He's hungry, too. Yeah, but he's robbing your family of their food and sustenance. It's okay. And then that fuzzy bunny rabbit breeds, and there's 2, then 4, then 20, then 100, and then all your crops have been consumed. Yeah. I was like, no, you got nothing to eat, because you thought one fuzzy bunny rabbit was cute, and 2 was even cuter. Oh, one fuzzy bunny rabbit's cute, and 2's even cuter. Oh, that's right. This is exactly how everybody in the world is thinking. It's the same way they're thinking up in New York City. However, those people, unfortunately, are intellectually daft. Dare I say it. They will trade off any and every freedom that their forefathers, threw their bodies on the altar for freedom. They'll discard them all. I'm safe for now. I'll just let the government have total control over everything. I'll let them stick a 24-hour probe looking over my bed. Give it like a year from now, and everybody will, up there at least, will submit to 24. Well, all we're going to do is we're going to put a camera in your house, and we're going to make you safe. Ain't going to be no more burglaries anymore. That's right. But on top of that, we're going to make sure you're not hoarding food or anything to protect yourself. We don't want you to be, more secure than your neighbor. That's right. I say this humorously because it drives home a point, but that's exactly what it is. It's fuzzy bunny rabbit, cute little ones, cute little fuzzy bunny rabbits, of totalitarian martial law. If one's cute, then 2 is twice as cute. This is the way it works. Canada's gone too full tilt. Things are picking up. Let's see what happens to these banks next week now that they've stopped the immoral, illegal, and illicit propping up of these banks, and see how many of them collapse like a cheap card table. Let's see what happens this next week. It'll probably take about 2.5 weeks for us to see the effect of that. Because what will happen is that the shareholders and the upper echelon, they're going to figure out the quickest way they can take their money out before they announce that everything's gone to pot. Everything's gone to ruin. It's all gone to heck, but how can we pull our money out before letting other people know? If I had a mustache, I'd be twirling it right now. Oh, God, I thought I was going to die last night. I was so sick. I'm still freezing on the inside. It's just so run down. I haven't felt that sick in quite a long time. Man, there was a period there last night where I didn't know I was awake or asleep. I was wandering between dimensions. And no, it wasn't due to taking anything. I did take 4 ibuprofen. But I was just so ill. So sleep deprived. Because you can't breathe, you can't sleep, at least in my case anyway. Thanks so much for watching. If you ever want to contact me, my information is in the links below in the description. Thank you. Luxi Veritas. Fuzzy bunny rabbit. That's right. Fuzzy bunny rabbits.